And the first question on the floor: who can we call on for guidance during these trying times?
This is a very good question. Well, there are many to call on, and first we would like to acknowledge these trying times that all of you are in. And although throughout time, especially in your human world, there have always been trying times, those trying times just sort of look differently at different times. But currently in your world, at least this world here on your earthly plane, as many of you may be familiar with, it is a time of where the consciousness is meant to be lifting up and raising. But any time that is happening, there is sort of the equal and opposite reaction. We believe some great thinker once said, yes. And so there is also sort of that pull or that draw against it. And so these times of yours have become more and more trying. There are certainly times when one may even begin to feel as though they are losing hope in humanity, losing hope in the raising of the consciousness. We are not feeling that so much. And so what we would say to you in terms of who do you reach to? Well, first and foremost, who is it that brings you comfort? Who or what is it that when you are feeling as though you are conflicted, when you are feeling as though you are losing hope, or when you are feeling alone, what is it that brings you comfort? If you do not know what brings you comfort, then we would suggest to you that you begin by finding that out first. And the way to find that out is to spend more time sitting silently, spend more time communing. And when we say communing, what we mean is sort of reaching out, whether it is to those of us here, such as the 82nd regime, or whether it be to others who are your guides that you may or may not have officially been introduced to yet. You may ask for them to be around you. You may ask for signs that they're around you. You may ask to be able to notice and feel when they are around you. For some people in many traditions, they call upon their ancestors, those who have come before them, because sometimes it is a bit easier because they already know that energy, they already have that connection. And so they might call upon their ancestors. Or sometimes they begin there and they call upon their ancestors to open up the doorway. You see, you can call on them to open up the doorway to the other side. If you're not sure how to reach out even deeper, they are already over there. You see, so you can ask them to make the way for you. You can ask them to run forward and go get your guides, or run forward and go get us, or any other collective beings or energies that are out there. The one thing that we might also add to this, one of your sayings that you use here in many of these practices is that when you are reaching out for that energy, that you ask that that energy come that is for the highest good, yes. Generally, when you're reaching out, that is what would happen anyway. But there are many of your humans who still are uncertain about reaching out into the ethers. For many, many years and decades and centuries, you have been told that to reach out into the ethers, you might be pulling in something that is negative, or something that is what you call evil, if you will, yes? And what we say to you is that some of these teachings come from a system that was put in place by humans, not by spirits, not by God, not by the divine source, but by humans that were attempting to form order and structure to things, you see. And so in doing that, they needed to be in charge. And so in doing that, they needed to have you humans begin to believe that the only way to access forgiveness, the only way to access divinity was through some representative. And what we are saying to you is, there is no need to go through anything other than your own divine self. Now, yes, at times, you may need to take out the garbage first, yes. So, in order to get to that place of making that connection. For all of you in human form, as you walk through this world. You may pick up wounds, you may pick up ideas, you may pick up hurts and things that sort of keep you separate or that you have built up inside of yourself over many, many years. And so the more that you clean that out, the more that you spend time in your healing. And we do not mean laying in your bed with the covers over your head for the next 3 years, although we certainly might suggest that some of you might want to do that for a half a day or so sometimes, to just tend to yourself. What we are saying is that you are the channel to the other side. You are able to connect with beings such as us and other beings any time that you wish. Very often you don't trust yourselves. Very often you think that you are making it up. Why, even this vehicle, when we first began speaking through her, and sometimes even now, we'll sort of begin to ask the question, is this something of my imagination? Is this something that I am making up? And we will say to you the same thing that we said to her early on, which is, even if you are making it up, ask yourself this question. Does this bring me peace? Does it make me a better person? Am I walking through the world differently? Do I have more joy in my life? Am I helping my brothers and my sisters of the world? And if the answer is yes, then does it matter where it is coming from? We think it does not. Although we would like to at least state that we do not believe that we are imagination. We like the idea that we do exist. And so for now we will go along with that thought and idea. So when you are reaching, you reach out to, some of you might call them angelic beings. Some of you might call them guides. Some of you might call them ancestors. Any number of things, anything that is sort of what you would call beyond you. You can call upon these things. You do not have to know a lot about them. You do not have to use special techniques. Yes, there are techniques at times and form and structure that helps the door to open better. But the biggest thing that helps it to open better is you doing it consistently and sticking to it. And sort of ensuring that when you're doing it, even again, if you're not sure, if you're doubting, that you open your heart to it. Because this is sort of the way that we work, is that we work through your heart, you see. You will feel it perhaps there first. Some of you may even be feeling that now as we're here with you. Perhaps you feel a little bit of energy here, some warmth, or something as though it's opening up, yes? Mm-hmm. Yes. And so this is one of your cues. It is not only, this is not our calling card per se. You feel us, that's what it is. And so when you are sitting, yes, when you are asking, when you are looking to connect with that which is beyond you right now, then feel for this feeling. Or perhaps you'll even feel it as though there's a warmth on your shoulders, or perhaps right here in what you call your third eye, yes? Mm-hmm. You'll begin to feel that opening up with this, or the palms of your hands, yes? Many of you work in this healing, yes, with healing hands and that. And so when you're working in your different, what do you call, or different strains, I don't quite know the word right now, but of healing, yes? You feel things beginning to open up. And so that is the same substance that we are, you see. Any of us out here, not just us, but when we form together, we also have this sort of consciousness. When you're sending healing energy in, that too is a consciousness. It's sort of a, what would you call? It's its own sort of consciousness, because as it goes into the physical body, it begins to lighten, right? It begins to move things and all of that. So that itself also is, you see. So when you're doing any of these things, you're connecting with this energy. But we would also say to you that equally as importantly is that when you're feeling challenged by this world, that one of the other best things to do is to go out and do something to change it. it would be lovely if you could all sit on a mountain somewhere and just hang out with us all the time, wouldn't it? But in the meantime, the world is still going on. And so this isn't just about sort of reaching this higher place or connection with us, right? But it's also about, you know, reach to your brother, reach to your sister, reach to he or she who is suffering. Reach to those who have gone before you and you see that they're walking in a certain way that you wish to walk in your life. Because very often you see one of the sort of, what would we call, this vehicle often calls it the dangling carrot, yes? One of the dangling carrots that we in the ethos will often use is that, and why it's just natural as well, that when you're struggling, when you're hurting, when you're suffering, that it is then that will sort of come around and that sort of makes you, oh, that feels very peaceful, so let me do more of that, let me do more of that, let me do more of that. And because human beings by nature tend to sort of come from this egoic perspective of they want to feel better, right? So that's how we sort of get you through the doorway, if you will, yes? And then from there, though, the point is that as you're raising your sort of frequency or your vibration, that you're going out and making a difference in this world. For this world cannot change without you. What are the things that matter to your heart? And go out and do something about that. And all of you in this room, from what we can see, do that in one way or another. And so you're beginning to do things toward that. You cannot always see immediate results, yes? But know and understand that not only when you're meditating, when you're connecting with us, that when you're reaching out, when you're helping another, even if you don't see immediate results in the larger world, there are things that are still changing. Energy is raising up. And although you can't see it right now, it is about knowing and trusting that out here, the swirling that's occurring is getting ready to sort of come down upon you or with you, if you will. We out here in the ethers are pleased to serve you, to connect with you, to help you walk through it, but understand also that we can only respond to your request. We are not able to sort of get in there and mess with another free will. So we need you on the ground as sort of the troops of our battalion, yes? We need you to be out there, to be the hands, to be the feet, to be the hearts, to spread these messages through your deeds. Do you understand?
Yes.
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 And does this answer the query?
Yes.
Yes, it does. Thank you.